How do we go from shaving our balls to this? Let's talk about the segue. What happened in the last 7.5 to 8 minutes?
I have no clue. How did we even get here?
I don't know. I'm not sure how we got this.
People are at home and like going, I want to know more about shaving my balls and my asshole.
So what kind of razors these guys using? I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna change the batteries. Let's pause this for a second.
Like I still can't like touch my eyes and shit like that.
So
I can't touch my eyes.
I did a show with Jason Tavares recently, and he was allergic to cats. But he didn't touch him when he came in. He just, kind of hung out. We did the show, whatever. But as we're sitting there having the show, I could see his eyes getting red. I could see them getting all water, and he keeps
that was me back in the day.
Blinking, doing all this shit. I go, I have like antihistamines. I said I had Benadryl. I said, why don't you take one? And within 15 minutes, he was fine. But he was trying to fight through it. But I could see him. He looked like he was at a funeral. Like he was. So I felt so fucking bad for him. That's good.
There was a buddy of mine, Pat Kramer, on the job. He worked in that house with me.
Is that good, by the way? Meathead's got to eat.
Thank you so much.
Ignore the chewing.
I love that.
These are just, that's what she said. These are just little snacks. I use these throughout the day. It's just easy.
Yeah. Pat Kramer, retired Providence cop, the Foster cop now. Whenever we go on raids.
Wait, was he on Capitol Police?
No.
Okay.
No. He could not. He had two allergic things that he was allergic to. One was eggs, and the other one was cats.
That would suck to have allergy to eggs.
He could not go into a house with cats. The reaction was too much.
Really?
He was allergic to cats. And then we'd go to a restaurant, and he'd like, do you cook on the same grill as your eggs? And if they did, I can't eat here. Type thing. But I would go in, but I especially if you went under, when you're searching, and if there were cats in the house, I would end up getting itchy eyes, sneezing, stuff like that. And that's still to this day. I mean, even though I have two cats, even if I could pet them, I know not to touch the dander. Fucking causes my eyes to.
Do they go outside?
No, my cats do not.
Yeah, mine don't either.
No, not allowed. No, fuck that shit.
So my uncle is allergic to cats, but when he comes over, he's fine around my cats because they don't go outside. If he goes to my mother's house, her cats go outside. He has an issue. It's really weird.
Well, I think it's a combination of two things. One mainly being the dander. The second one being the outside allergy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the cats pick up both.
Sticks to their fur, bring it back in.
Exactly.
So, word to all the cat criminals, cat owner criminals in Foster, find out, let me see, I got the trash over here. Find out this guy's schedule, and when he's working in your area, that's when you want to break the law, and then run back to your house. Here's my PSA for the day. Typically when you do a podcast, I like to leave people with something to take away from the show. Up until hour and 11 minutes. What have we taught the audience so far? I'll wait.
How to shave our heads.
How to shave from the equator up.
Yes.
Flexibility is key if you're going to clean your anus. What do we got here? What's this?
Eating problem. All right, so
let's get into story time.
All right, so this was this is the beginning of my career. There's pictures of me in my police academy. There's a little article when we first got on. There was a lot of recruits in my academy.
You had the largest academy, right?
We had one of the largest academies at the time. Yes, and pull
that mic over in front of your face just a little bit.
Half.
If you bend it at that elbow, you can move the whole thing. No, it's that protein bar. It's been in my closet for about 4 years.
So,
yeah, there you go. You can move the whole thing like that.
So, when I got on, there's pictures of me in the police academy, and there's pictures of me with the police chief at the time. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he committed suicide.
Really?
Yeah. There's Sergeant Wood, who, though he was one of the hardest as motherfuckers.
You talked about him last time.
I really appreciated him.
You don't appreciate it while you're going through it.
No.
Till afterwards.
I just thought this guy was like fucking crazy as fuck.
Yeah. But he's teaching you.
But he literally, I watch him on Facebook. He follows me and he likes my stuff and he follows me and stuff. And then there's like Captain Baldessari. He's another. He committed suicide as well. His son and I are like best friends. Billy Baldessari. Two
of these guys committed suicide.
Yeah, man, it's sad. You know, it's so sad. I mean, there was a female sergeant at the time, one of the only ones that was on. And then there was Greg Bolden. Here's another picture right here. Greg was my best friend. We were best friends in college.
Really?
And we both got on the police academy together. You know, he ended up dying of 2 different types of diabetes.
Jesus.
15 years ago. I can't believe it. I just saw that. I can't believe it's been 15 years, man.
Doesn't it feel like the older you get, time just flies by? It just, like, every day just goes by.
It's just fucking crazy. And here he is, bro.
So all these pictures.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
No. What I'll do is I'll take pictures after the fact, and I'll edit them into the show.
Right.
Into the show.
I mean, here's Greg with his son Brandon. When we graduated the academy, we were the 20. I didn't make it in the top 25. The bottom 25 we got on afterwards, but not much longer. Like 3-4 months later, we got.
Yeah, so you had a little short period in between.
So, but we had we were such a great academy, man. It was such a great career. I mean, but he made the front page of the journal with his son Brandon, who I'm still close with him. His son Brandon and Darren. I'm very good. You know, they stay close with me, and then I mean, as we go on, there's pictures here. Like,
who's this?
All right, so I don't know who it is, but it was somebody I got at gunpoint, and the news was there. And so I thought about posting this picture on social media.
But just in case.
I'll probably get fucking, go to Facebook jail or something.
So it's funny. So I didn't see your right hand, but you're holding the gun.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first glanced at this picture, it looked like somebody getting ready to change a flat tire until you said what it was. Because the angle I'm sitting at, you can't tell from where I'm looking. Not seeing your right hand, it looks like someone's changing a flat tire.
I just fucking I was told that, like, you know, the guy's armed or something. I can't remember exactly what was on. This was a big sting over here on this page, man. Like friggin' like in the, you know, journal caught me there. I ended up getting in the newspaper a lot for some reason. But I was like,
you like the Cowboys and you are a cowboy. Maybe that's why.
But I mean, then there's, you know, throughout my career, like there's called, when as a police officer and you make a good arrest, your superior would write up a letter. Mm-hmm. It's called the letter of recommendation for an accommodation.
I was just to say it's an accommodation.
So it's a recommendation for one. So I got several of the recommendation for accommodations. I mean, down the road, I did get awards. I had several of my badge. Oh, I should, you know what? I gotta find it and take a picture of it.
So send it to me, and I'll edit this over the weekend.
Yeah. But I'm gonna find it and send it to you because it's so badass.
Really? Oh, because you had all the accommodations.
All my medals, bro.
So,
all my medals.
Do you want to know how I know what an accommodation is? Police Academy. That's how I know. From Tackleberry. That's how I learned.
So as you go through these, I mean,
Tell them what the stories are. I mean, they all got headlines.
Well, there's all different stories, but it's hard to tell what stories or what to what. But there was a shooting in Silver Lake where the guy that did the shooting, I used to see him all the fucking time, and I ended up locking him up with the loaded shotgun. He shot this fucking guy. It's a
young guy.
Kill him. Yeah, but at the time they were in their 20s, 30s, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I was a very active police officer.
Well, there were some guys that just want to go below the radar, get their check, get their pension, call it a day.
Exactly. Me, I just wanted to work in South Providence. I wanted to work in areas like that were, the hottest areas, out there, like just fucking like, because I didn't want to do nothing. I wanted to be proactive.
No, I want the day to go by, man. I want some action.
It's like, I just, my life just goes on and on and on. There was an escapee I ended up catching.
Where did he escape from? ACI?
Yeah, ACI escapee. Yeah.
How did he escape?
I don't remember. I think I want to say it was a closed truck or something at the time.
Like something from Johnny Dangerously?
Yeah, something crazy, something stupid. Like at the time, they just.
Is this you holding a gun to somebody else?
No, right. So this is my buddy Mike Giacomoni, who everybody used to think him and I were like brothers because they did we are brothers. We talk to this day. Mike Giacomoni, I love him to death. He's like, but my sister actually was glancing through this and she goes, is that Mike Giacomoni? I'm like, yeah, it is. I was like.
You guys like Riggs and Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon.
Exactly. He's a beast, right? But then there was this. Oh my God, there was this guy. Did I tell you this story last time? Stop me if I did. All right.
No, I don't give a shit. Say it again.
All right. Okay. All right. So,
I love law enforcement stories.
So
I'd rather hear about them than be one.
I think I did tell this story.
Which one?
I was sitting on Broad Street and I was writing out a police report, and this car went by on tire rims.
No, you told us a story about how you and your buddy were faking like they were getting pushed around in a wagon.
All right, different story.
Okay,
that's a fun story.
You had a guy driving by on rims?
I was sitting on Broad Street. I was sitting at Broad in Warrington.
Oh God.
Okay, I remember the exact location. I was sitting at Broad in Warrington, and it was February 12th of 1989. My dad, God rest his soul, man. My dad was the best, man. My dad loved me. I mean, like a dad should love his son, but it's like my dad loved me. He was so proud of me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
He was so proud. He goes, I got an article. I found something in the newspaper. I got your name in it, blah, blah, blah. And that's my dad's writing right there, man.
See, that's cool. Your dad's scrapbook on your law enforcement career. My dad's scrapbook when I played baseball. So I have all similar stuff like this from when I was a kid playing ball.
So I was sitting at Broad in Warrington, and I was writing. So back then, you wrote out misdemeanor reports, okay? And you had to type felony reports. Mm-hmm. And there was no internet shit.
No, you had nothing. Yeah.
Nothing like that.
The typewriters back then.
Exactly. So I'm writing out my misdemeanor reports, right? And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, it was like about 1 o'clock in the morning, right? On a weekend. And here comes this car riding down Broad Street towards the city, okay? On its tire rims, right? Sparks flying.
I can imagine.
Sparks flying. I'm like, I look out, I'm like,
the fuck?
What the fuck? So it was a busy night. It was a busy fucking night. I get behind it. And I'm like, all right, I'm behind Rhode Island registration, blah, blah, blah. I am not chasing the vehicle. It is failing to pull over. It's riding on its tire rims. And so I'm putting it over and they're listening and I go, look, I'm only going 20 miles an hour. I am not chasing this vehicle, but he's failing to pull over.
Yeah.
It wasn't until we got to where Crossroads is now, the old YMCA.
Yep. Yeah.
The YMCA at the time. And he finally pulls over. Okay? In the meantime, I get out of the car and I walk up to it, right? And I go, I said, license and registration. Textbook drunk driver. And I hated with a passion doing drunk drivers because it was so much
annoying
paperwork and ridiculous shit, right? Opened up the door, right? Beer cans fell out.
Excellent.
Let me see a license. As he's going through his wallet, the license, everything falls to the ground.
Fantastic.
He picks it up. He fumbles. Hands it to me. I grab him. I took him. Now, at the time, I was driving the paddy wagon. Okay? So I threw him in the back of the paddy wagon, and I got him back there. Now, in the meantime, Bernie Columbus, Captain Columbus, right? I think he was a lieutenant at the time. He drives by, and he goes, "What do you got, Lou?" I said, "Lieutenant, I think I got a drunk driver." I go, "He's got it." Now, what pissed me off was, because I was looking for everything to just write him up.
For anything, yeah.
To get him out of my life, right? He had an active license, and he had an active registration.
God damn it.
Exactly. He goes, "You need to go drive. You need to go advise him of his drunk driving rights." Fuck. I'm like, okay, all right. I go in the back of the paddy wagon. In the meantime, Chris Patterson, God rest his soul, okay, he had passed away. He took himself, but I mean, he was out of my academy. He's a good friend. And there was Peter Mazzi, who pulls up, right? So they're talking to the lieutenant. I go in the back of the van. Here's the kid laying across the back of the van, right? All the way to the back, in the back, like this, right? And I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm like, oh, nothing. Oh, right? He reaches out, pulls my pens out of my shirt, and goes like that, right? I bam! Cracked him right. You heard his nose break. His nose splattered across his face, right? Blood everywhere, right? He drops back, and he's like, and now the fight's on, right? Fight's on, right? And now here comes in Chris Patterson and Peter Mazzi.
No, he's fighting fucking three of you guys.
They come jumping in. Because they see the van rocking. And when the vans are rocking...
Don't come knocking.
No, you come fucking knocking, motherfucker. They jump in the back. I'd never seen anybody snap a nightstick, the wooden the bolo nightsticks back then, right?
Oh, we talked about those last time.
Did we talk about
Yeah, you said somebody threw one and it split.
No, that was a PR-24.
Okay, all right.
That was different. These are regular wooden nightsticks back in the day when you came on, right? It was so much fun to spin. And,
they had the straight ball.
So he comes in and he's got it and he's snapping it into this kid's quad, right?
Really?
I don't know. Like,
almost like they used to do that with the rubber bands?
Yeah, I was like, how the fuck are you doing that? I'm like, it's fucking badass. I'm saying to myself, I'm like, damn, like,
teach me.
Teach me, please, I need to learn, right? So Chris Patterson grabs the kid by his hair and sits him up, right? And as he grabs him by his hair to sit him up, chunk falls out, like a chunk of hair, right? Because I remember, because the next day...
It was still in the truck?
It was still in the truck. Because every time you use the vehicle, a police vehicle, you check it.
Yeah.
For contraband or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So the hair was still there the next day. So...
Jesus.
So I now... recuffed him. Now, the lieutenant had left at this point. Didn't know what was going on.
Fair game.
Right. We get to the station, right? The lieutenant comes back there, and he goes,
"What the hell happened to this guy?"
"What the fuck happened, Louie?" And I'm like, "Lieutenant, you don't understand. He fucking lost it. He went nuts.
So you have to explain yourself.
Right? And he goes, and he's breaking my balls. Yeah. I'm like, "Well, I'm telling the truth, right?" So... I think it was Sergeant Grover, David Grover at the time. He was working traffic. He comes over. He looks at the kid, and the kid like that.
All busted up.
In the chair, he goes, he refuses drunk driving rights. Get him to the hospital.
Oh, God.
Now we take him to the hospital. Story don't end, bro. This story continues.
Well, with drunks, it never does.
This story fucking continues. Right? We get him to the hospital, and... now the doctors and nurses are looking at like us, we're the bad guys.
Of course.
So he's all busted up, his nose is fucking across his face, he's limping, right? You get him in, the doctor goes, "Uncuff him." I go, "Doc, he's violent." "Oh yeah, he looks really fucking violent."
Okay.
This is the doctor, yeah, he looks really. I go, "Doc, he's violent." "No, uncuff him." All right.
Do you have to listen to the doctors at that point? Or is it just not worth the argument?
Not worth the argument.
No.
Not worth the argument. Uncuffed him, right? he fucking went nuts. He fucking bit the doctor.
Jesus.
Kicked the security guard that was there in the balls.
Oh my God.
Right? So now Peter picked up one of those the things you pee in, those plastic jugs.
Oh yeah.
It's empty. It was empty. Yeah. But he took it and he's jamming it in the kid's eyeball. Now we're all fighting. I hear the doctor yell to the nurse, "Get some fucking shot." Right?
Yeah.
Knock him out.
Yeah.
Right? And I go, "I told you."
Yeah.
I told you so.
Way to go, sir. How's that? How's that MD doing?
Like fucking like I was lying to you.
Yeah. Stick to scripts.
Fucking piece of shit. So all right. So Peter and Chris stay with him overnight. Right? While I'm in the station. Now I'm in the station. Hours of paperwork.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Hours. I don't get done till 7:30 in the morning. Ugh. My shift ends at 7. When I'm done bringing the paperwork to the cell block for the next morning for court, right? Here comes walking in Chris and Peter with the kid. Right?
Back to the station.
Back to the station. They just got out of hospital.
Oh.
Right. So they were in the hospital all night. They come walking in, right? Fucking walk in, and I look at the kid. I go, he's like his eyes blown out. His nose is fucking.
The buzz is wearing off.
Right. He's limping in from the fucking
from the nightstick.
The legs. Right. He's walking in. He's like, he goes. He looks at me, and I look at him. I go, "You know me?" "I don't know you." I'm like, "Good." See you later. Peace out, motherfucker. Right? Steve, when I tell you it didn't go to court, it didn't go to fucking IA. This kid must have just fucking went to court and said, "I'm an asshole and I'm guilty."
Yeah, suck it up. What are you going to do? Either that or...
but it never went anywhere. It never fucking went anywhere.
You know how much money that costs.
Oh my God.
To come out. Like, you guys...
Yeah, dude, he was so fucked. He was so fucked. And this is the news article and the police reports and stuff, from that.
Let me see this real quick. That's fucking awesome. That's cool to see that from back then, what they used to look like.
Exactly, man.
I've never been involved in one of these, so this is all very interesting to me.
This is literally typed with 3 face sheets like this with a carbon copies.
Oh my God.
In a fucking typewriter.
Like the old school credit card things.
Oh my God. And if you made a mistake, it's like fucking look, Chris Patterson's name.
You got to use whiteout, fix it, type up.
Whiteout, you got to go on each one. It's like, oh my God, it was fucking torture. So like some of these things I don't even I really, there's so much. But I mean, these were thank you letters from. Was
this the bank that got robbed?
No, that wasn't the one that I did that got robbed. No, that was just something else. I must have.
People's Bank.
Yeah, we helped them do something. They had a difficult time, and we were part of it, and they thanked us for it. I go from Colonel Clark to there's all different chiefs throughout my career. Here's another letter of commendation.
You know what you should do? You should laminate these pages so they don't get ruined.
I'm thinking about that. Or going and getting those folders where I just take them and stick them in between.
Oh shit! I have a ton of them in the other room. I think I'll give them to you. Yeah, I think I got a ton of them.
Really? Because I'd rather then I could take them back to back, and it won't be that bad.
You could just get the sleeves and tape them. But I think I have some in the other room.
That'd be great.
I think I do. Yeah, you can have them.
But I was also thinking about taking these, Steve, and taking them and maybe scanning them,
making them digital,
and scanning them. And I wonder if there's a way of doing this. We're making a blog book like this.
Of course, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. Can
you help me do that, man? Not that I want you to do it. Can you help me? Just show me. See a page like this.
Look under the desk right there. You see that black thing underneath the desk? That's a scanner. All you have to do is scan them, save them in your computer.
Yeah.
Then what you do is, if you have a blog or you want to do whatever, you do a different blog post, tell a little blurb about what each thing is, and just throw them up there like your own little archive.
I mean, it's something. I think it would be something cool for people to want to see. I mean,
it's history. Everyone loves history.
The drunk driving charge lodged after auto hits city policeman. That was me, man.
You know, you hear that all the time, drunk drivers hitting cops on the side of the road.
Dude,
all the time.
I was fucking hit. I was thrown over 15. I told you the story. I was thrown over 15 feet. This is the police report. Imagine this. Like, this is the whole police report of the incident that occurred that time.
No shit.
Right, it goes on and on and on. Then the statements. And, I mean, it's just so intense. There's so much paperwork involved. I mean, you know.
That's the one thing you hear about all the time is nobody wants to do the paperwork.
I mean, today things are a little easier. A lot of things are computerized. So a lot of things are like, you know, like you say you got this right here. You know, you go on it and it's in the computer and you're just like filling in the spots.
Yeah, the body of it is there. You're just filling in the text.
You're filling in, you're checking or whatever. You know, just like.
Jesus, huh?
I mean, I think this is. What was this? I think this was the guy's blood test, you know. Then I put in a grievance at the time. And the reason I put in a grievance is because I just got out of work, okay? And I was with Mike Figueredo, and it was a weekend. And I said, Mike, let's go to grab something at Haven Brothers. I said, my kid's at my aunt.
Haven Brothers. Oh,
my kid is at my mother-in-law's. My wife's out with her friends. I said, I'm hungry. Let's grab something to eat. So I went. I used to love their chicken sandwich. It was
their
fresh
food
chicken,
was so good.
But it was on white bread with mayonnaise. It was
so good,
like that, right?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Right. I'm drooling thinking about it.
You make me want to go to Wendy's right now, Chick-fil-A or something.
So we stopped there. Now we're going home, and on the way home. There was a call of a man with a gun in our neighborhood, right? We still had radios on, we still had shit on. You know?
Yeah.
We just got out of work, you know? Now, Mike and I used to take turns driving to work. And he drove a Jeep with oversized tires. And it was his turn, he was driving. So we're driving back home, and I lived on Plainfield Street at the time. So as we're driving down Plainfield Street, call came over of a man with a gun on Laurel Hill Avenue. He's like, he looks at me, I look at him, he goes, you want to go? I go, yeah, let's go.
Fuck it, let's go.
Let's go. I'm like, I got nothing going on, let's go. So we go. When we get there, I think it was Laurel Hill in Laban Street, I believe. Bobby Bone was working, and he pulls up, okay, in the police car. So we're right at that corner and we're looking, and there's this overgrown grass in this front yard, right? And there's this guy laying stretched out in the grass.
Trying to hide?
Yeah. Right? We got him at gunpoint. I jump over the fence, I grab him. We pull him over. No gun, it was domestic bullshit, you know, like fucking, you know. So Bobby grabs him, throws him in the police car. They go, Bobby, all set? He goes, I'm all set, thanks guys, appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Now we drive back towards my house because we had driven past my house. Now we got to drive back by my house to my house. So as we're pulling in, Mike Figueredo pulls left wheels to curb in front of my house. Now I lived on Plainfield Street just in from Webster Avenue at the time. I owned a house there. And he pulls left wheels to curb in front of my house. What I mean by left wheels to curb is he drove on the wrong side of the road. Correct. To park in front of my house. So now he's facing traffic on the left side of the road. I got out of my car. I got out of his car, the passenger. At the same time, my neighbor from next door was pulling in, and he used to park across the street in this parking lot. Yeah. Right? And he's seeing me. And my buddy Johnny Gliozzi just graduated law school. He's driving by. He's like, Louie. I'm like, Johnny. So he pulls over. He pulls behind us. Okay? Excuse me.
Tequila will wash it down.
Oh, is it? So John pulls behind us. So we're facing this way, and John's facing this way. Mm-hmm. Right? John's parked the right way on the road. Yeah. I get out and I start walking towards him. Last thing I remember. Drunk driver side swipes Mike's car, the Jeep. Excuse me. sideswipes his tire.
Yeah.
Hits me.
Oh, God.
Snaps me back up onto his car. Rips the shoe right off my foot, right? Snaps me back up onto his car. Broke his windshield. Hits the brake. Catapults me 15 to 20 feet into Johnny Leozzi's car.
Jesus.
Breaking his taillight, indenting his bumper, and then whacking my head on the curb.
The Italian cannonball.
Whacked my head on the curb. Fucking John and everybody's like, John seen it happen. John actually saw me fly through the air. It bothered him for a long time, right? Now cars stop and stuff. Some drunk nurse fucking pulls over and she goes, I'm a nurse. And she was trying to move me and Mike's like, don't you fucking move him. I was gurgling.
Yeah, well.
I was gurgling. While it's all coming over and it's on the air, right? Father Folly from Holy Cross Church at the time overheard it on the scanner and came over. And he came up and he was like, he was praying over me, reading my last rites pretty much. Yeah. You know? From that day on, after that, I had my mom take me to Holy Cross Church. I left St. Anthony's and went to Holy Cross.
Yeah, no.
And him and I became best friends.
Good.
I ended up, the only thing I remember of that evening, because I don't remember getting hit or anything like that, but I remember Sergeant McAndrews in the back of the van with me, of the rescue. Yeah. And he's like, Louie, can you hear me? Louie, I'm like, oh, what happened? He goes, a drunk driver hit you. I remember like saying something like, did you get the bastard? And he's like, yeah, we got him. I'm like, okay. That's the last thing I remember. Yeah. They found my dad somewhere. He was playing cards. My mom was out with her friends. You know, my dad, they all ended up, my dad said that night, he goes, you look like the Elephant Man. Just swollen. He goes, your head was so distorted. But I didn't have one cut on my head. Really? Fucking smashed my head, not one cut. Not one fucking cut. Right? But he goes, my head was so, he goes, it was like a miracle the next morning. He goes, you went like, your head was back to normal. Really? Yeah. Yeah. It was like, so it explains a lot about me. But anyway. So I, ended up, being out of work for a while. In the meantime, they tried to say the colonel at the time was saying, "Oh, well, he wasn't on duty. He can't charge injured on duty." But there's a certain span you can report it from coming and going to work. Yeah. And I ended up fighting it. But then at the time, Richard Tamburini was second in charge. Mm-hmm. Richard, who eventually became the chief of Johnston. Yeah. He was good friends with my dad. And he goes, Louie, just tell your son to let this go. He goes, and we'll take care of him. And so it was like, I lost out on a lot of money. Yeah. I just did it because it was my dad's friend, and I let it go. Don't rock the boat type thing. I didn't rock the boat type thing. You listened back then. Yeah. This fucking what? I was out of work 3 months. Well, I can imagine, yeah. I was out of work 3 months. I had a broken fibula bone. I fucked up the ligaments on my knee and my ankle and shit like that. I ended up fucking coming back to work in 3 months, and guys were like, the old timers were like, what are you doing back to work so quick? You shouldn't be back to work yet. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah. I was going crazy at home. I couldn't stand being home no more. Especially an action junkie. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is sit around. When you're an adrenaline junkie, forget about it. It's like fucking like, and they got so pissed at me. But I got back to work. Makes them look bad. Exactly. You're making us, exact words out of your mouth. You're making us look bad. Sorry. But that old school mentality back then was... Like, I don't know what to tell you. Work the system. I don't feel like it. So I ended up recovering from that, and I fucking, I had my shit, man, through my career. I mean, I remember the time, like, then my career, like, a lot of this is drug related. A lot of my arrests, like, that's the pinnacle of my career was drugs, I know, like, again at Broad and Warrington, right? I'm sitting there one afternoon, right? And here comes this prostitute I knew. She come up to the car. Nice. 5 foot tall, fucking 250 black chick, right?
Zoiks.
Yeah. And she goes, hey, Louie. And I'm like, hey. She goes, you got $5? I said, do I look like fucking Citizens Bank to you?
Yeah.
Right?
They got balls, man.
Right? Oh, yeah. She goes, no, you don't look like Citizens Bank but I'm really hungry. I go, look, what you bullshitting? You're gonna grab $5 from me. You're gonna grab $5 for something else. You're gonna go buy rock. You're gonna go buy liquor, right? Louie, I swear to God, I'm going right into that store right there right now because there was a store right at the corner there. She goes, and I'm gonna go buy a sandwich. I'm hungry. I go, guess my better judgment, I gave her $5, right? And she went in and bought a sandwich. She came back out. She goes, Louie, by the way, she goes, see that boy over there at the corner? Over there? I'm like, yeah. She goes, he got heroin on him. I go, okay. So I went over, I grabbed the kid, right? And it was winter, and I grabbed the kid, and I grabbed him by his left wrist, and I go to put him against the car, right? As I grabbed him by his left wrist, I felt a fucking gun in his fucking sleeve.
No shit.
Gun in his sleeve, and I fucking took him, and I fucking threw him. He goes, I go, motherfucker, don't move. He goes, oh, I'm not doing. He fucking, it was a loaded 38, right? I grabbed him, and I fucking searched him, and he had fucking like 50 bags of heroin on him.
No shit.
Gun on him.
Oh, because you gave her something to eat.
All because I gave somebody. It's like, I always say that to the guys. He goes, it's all how you treat people. You know, it's like, it's against my better judgment to give fucking people begging for money. But I mean, sometimes,
But I also don't think a lot of people understand that world, like that environment. Like you worked in it for a very brief period of time. I was in the worst parts of Providence, working with that population. I don't think a lot of people understand, like, that's all they know. And they will literally do anything to either feed themselves, feed their baby, or to get high or drunk. Yeah. There are no rules over there. It's scary until you've actually been in there and seen it. I remember one day I was driving back. I had a couple clients. I would take them grocery shopping once a week. So I'm driving back down Broad Street, and there was a red light. You know the McDonald's over there?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're heading away from the city, McDonald's on your right-hand side. Somebody was taking a left, so we're all stopped. There must have been 15, 16 people standing in a circle. It was like July, August, hot as fucking balls that day. Maybe 11 o'clock in the morning. They were all sitting around watching two pit bulls fuck. Like they were cheering it on like they were watching a cockfight. And I'm like, they're breeding dogs for fighting. They can make money, whatever. And they're all sitting there. Like, I'm talking 16 dudes and girls sitting around watching two pit bulls fuck. Like, that's what they did during the day in a McDonald's parking lot.
In that area has not much changed.
It's a different world.
It really has not that much changed, bro. It's very similar, to...
Explain what a trap house is. I've been in several, by the way. Not for myself, but just...
It's just a house where people gather to do drugs, pretty much.
I had a client, young kid, probably like 20, 21 years old. And from when he was elementary school age, he was both sexually assaulted and forced to sell drugs. Like, that's that world.
That world, bro. Me and my partners and stuff that we dealt with, like these kids, we've locked up kids as young as 10 years old selling drugs. Mm-hmm. They don't know any better.
Nope, they're completely victimized.
Not even a clue.
Nope.
Have the fucking bags of crack in their mouth, pulling it out like he's like I'll never forget my
How would you sell crack with
Tony grabbing
COVID?
the fucking kid, grabbing the kid and the kid. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That's all they know. That's all they know. It's sad, man.
Yeah,
it's sad. It's because they're born into that. It's like a trade. It's like an electrician. You have an apprentice. Yeah. You have kids. It's what you train them to do.
Yeah.
Girls turn tricks. Guys rob and sell drugs.
Yeah.
It's a generational thing. It's really sad.
Brother, you're preaching to the choir with me, man. It's like, I've seen so much bad in my lifetime, but I've seen so much good as well. I mean, like, on the other hand, the what I've done to help people.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm looking at some of these pictures, man. This is back, like...
Your head must be getting flooded with memories right now.
Memories are, ridiculous memories. Like, they're right Yeah.
I could pick you out. I see that nose.
When we got the blue uniforms, this is when we all turned blue.
I like the blue.
We all turned blue, went from brown to blue. And this is when I was on a task force, with all the guys and shit, This is Dave LaPayne. You see him on all the news shows now.
Yes.
Like Dave is the commentator for Rhode Island. For Providence Police.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
He talks about the cases and stuff all the time on the news. He's a major. He's a great guy. I just fucking, bro, I don't think there's enough time in a day.
Boy denies satanic influence. What's this?
We ended up grabbing a kid digging up a grave.
Really?
Yeah, off Charles Street. Yeah. Yep.
A lot of people don't realize that drug addicts hide their guns and drugs in cemeteries. I used to come across that a lot.
Yeah, they do that. They also, these kids were fucking satanic. These kids were evil. Evil as fuck, dude. They were robbing a baby's grave.
Looking for the baby's remains?
Yeah, just for the satanic, the rituals.
Jesus.
Oh my God, it was awful. These kids were bad. This was a spooky one for me. Actually.
I can imagine.
This was literally a spooky one. You're like, what the fuck?
It's crazy to think that shit's still out there, that it still exists.
Oh man.
Man commits suicide in front of his relatives.
Yeah, that was in front of me.
Really?
That was my uncle.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus! I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm not going to get too deep into that.
No, I wouldn't.
But it's just my uncle. He was a World War II vet, and Korean vet, and he just had some mental health issues, and it's just the way things happen, and it was sad.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Oh my God, we can go on and on and on. But I had a great career. I mean, I did community police, I got some of these pictures here. I did community policing. There was a time where there was this guy, this fucking piece of shit in the Manton Avenue neighborhood who was kidnapping kids. Do you remember hearing about it? I don't know if you...
What year was this?
I want to say, let's see, I was doing community policing. It had to be in the early 90s, right? So we were going into schools. This was Laurel Hill Avenue School, and we were.
My God, look at you!
Yeah, and we were taking fingerprints of the kids.
So you can build a database
for the database and give to their parents. So God forbid anything happens, at least we can help. Find these kids. And
how'd you explain that to the kids? How do you tell that to a child?
They just loved it. They
love getting fingerprinted?
They were just loving getting fingerprinted and stuff, and they were just thought it was fun. I mean, look at this. Look, how priceless is that picture?
I know.
How priceless is that?
Hold that up to that camera. That's an awesome picture.
Yeah. So I mean, here's a young kid. He was just so happy. And we were just, we made them feel so comfortable. And
Well, when you're a kid, but that's the difference. When you were growing up, when I was growing up, you were taught to respect, obey the police officers. They must have had a blast that day. It was just like a treat for them.
Now that picture in front of you in the book right there is with Patty Adavaya. Patty and I were the first two to start up the school squad.
Which is now a resource officer?
Like a resource officer, yeah. We were the first two to do it. With Dean Isabella and Lieutenant John Reese.
She looks serious, by the way.
Oh, yeah, she was serious.
She looks...
She was a tough chick, man. She's such a good friend of mine. She's such a great person. But we started it up, and man, we were all over the fucking news about it. They made a
My God, the old school cop cars, the square bodies.
Yep, they made a big fucking deal out of it, brother. They made a big deal.
Police patrols aim at trespassers. My God.
So, I mean, I had a great career, man. I went from that, and I went into doing community policing.
What part did you like the best? What do you?
Well, I loved narcotics. I loved being undercover.
Yeah, doing the fun stuff.
To me, that was the best. Being undercover was the best, bro. I just fucking had a great career. When I was undercover, man, the stories, go on and on and on. But some of the stories, we dealt with prostitutes too. Tell
me some prostitute stories, because I have a funny story. I'm going to mention don't know if I could say a name or not. I don't want to name drop just in case. But he's a very good friend. His wife works with my wife. And he was calling, trying to lure women into a sexual situation.
Yeah.
But I guess he was terrible at it.
So let's just back it up for a second. One of my dad's brothers, like before I even got on the job, gets picked up for picking up a prostitute, and they recognized the name and they knew my dad. So they called my dad up and they said, "What's Louie Stravato?" They're like, "Oh, it's my brother." They're like, "All right, come down." Right? They get down and they go pick him up, and he fucking they go, "Yeah, your brother got caught picking up a prostitute." And he goes, "Okay, all right." So they're like, "All right, no big, whatever." It's before my uncle. My uncle was young. He wasn't married yet.
Yeah, who gives a shit? Right? Lady of the night, whatever.
Well, yeah, lady of the night, sure. They bring this guy out. They go, "Eddie, do you know this guy?" He goes, "I don't know who that is." Then they throw the wig on him.
Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God.
Yeah. So like my uncle's like, yeah, that used to be the ball busting story. Oh my God. My uncle was the best though. I like getting off the subject quickly. Do you remember the play then? It used to be above.
God, yes.
It used to be above JR's Fast Lane, right? It was a strip club.
I used to go to JR's Fast Lane.
Right? It was above JR's Fast Lane, right? I go there one time. My uncle was like, "Hey, I said, 'Hey, uncle.' He goes, 'I'm not uncle in here.'" Shut your mouth. I'm like, "Okay, Eddie." But oh my God, dude, the laughs we used to have picking up prostitutes, because it was like a whole code. Like all right, so I'd be driving a car and we'd see, like me by myself, see a prostitute, have her get in, and have her proposition you. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Once she propositioned you, usually the telltale was you tap the brakes 3 times.
I've seen enough episodes of Cops in Florida to know.
Tap the brakes 3 times, she propositioned you, move in. Right? There were times we used to bust balls though. We used to fucking not move in right away.
Just let shit get carried away.
Well, for example, a transsexual. One of the guys picked up a transsexual. Like,
nice.
Let's let him take it. He's tapping the brakes,
He can't wait to get out.
Right? He's tapping. Finally gets to pulls in a fucking parking lot, and we're like, and finally then we roll in and we grab him. Now we go up to him and we like, "Browns, please," and now he's playing like he's a John, right? Not a cop. Right? And what are you doing? Nothing. No, this is my friend. No, you don't know who the fuck that is. And we'd smack each other. Oh my God, bro. We'd open palm each other like fucking smack. Damn. Stop fucking lying to me. The prostitute would be like
freaking the fuck out.
Freaking out. Like, why are you hitting him? Why are you hitting him?
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Mind your fucking business. You're a fuck. Do you know this guy's a pedophile?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Oh, the laughs we used to have. And then we'd all be laughing. That was at a car show at the Civic Center. And that was a porn star.
So I met a porn star in the 2000s, 2 of them actually, at Foxy Lady.
That was at a car show at the Civic Center, the Providence Civic Center back in the day. So
I used to love the Civic Center.
I'll never forget the time.
Let's go to monster trucks there.
My favorite my favorite prostitute story is
Well, wait a minute. Where are we just going with the porn story?
No, you started with the porn. You're fucking picking porn pictures out of my book.
I will put this down.
My favorite story is, and it always got huge laughs back in the day when I tell it, like, I pick up this prostitute. Again, maybe 5 feet tall.
Why are they always short?
I don't know, man. This one weighed like 300 pounds. She was huge, right? And she gets in the car, right? And so she goes, I said, "What do you want to do?" She goes, "What do you want to do?" I go, "Whatever." I got $40. What do you want to do? She goes, "What if I blow you and then you take me to McDonald's. I want the 2 for $2 special. I'm like, okay.
It's a cheap date.
Okay. Tap, 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 right?
Blow job and Mickey D's.
Tap, 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 right? I get her in the station. Billy Petachenko was the sergeant at the time of my unit. God rest his soul.
2 for $2.
And he's like, and she knew him. And I had her and I'm trying, he goes, and she's like, Peto. He's like, what? She goes, all I wanted was the 2 for $2 special at McDonald's. That's all I wanted.
I was going to blow him to be nice.
Oh my God, the laughs. The laughs. I mean, I never get the time I pick up this prostitute now. There was very few good-looking prostitutes.
Listen, I've spent some time in downtown Providence. I've never... Yeah, well, I got propositioned a few times.
My dad, I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro, but my dad had the best quote ever. He goes, you got to be mad at your dick. You must be mad at your dick.
It's perfect.
You must be mad at your dick.
It's perfect because they just look like they stink. Like if you could microwave diarrhea, that's what they look like. They smell like.
My stomach would fucking turn when they get in the car because they just smell like dirty vagina.
They just stunk like pure STDs and shit.
And there's this girl one time, and I'm in down in Prairie Avenue, Eddy Street end.
Yep.
Right, the project's over there, and this girl, I'm like. She had on a mini skirt. She had on like a light black leather jacket, long curly black hair. I'm like, damn, this girl. But I knew she was a prostitute. She didn't belong there, right? So I pick her up, and she propositions me, right? And I take her in. And I get her in the station, and I'm like, no. Before I even get her in the station, no, I'm sorry. She had on like black leather shorts.
I have those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, stuff doesn't. So again, she gets in there, right? And she's in the car, and I go, "Are you a guy or a girl? Because you're good looking, right?" And she goes, "I'm a girl, right?" And she takes her shorts and pulls it to the side, shows me a snatch.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Classy.
Okay, you're a woman. You're a woman.
Class. 100%.
You have a vagina. Okay. So then she probably didn't take her in. When I tell you this, when I took her in and they took her jacket off, right? Track marks.
Oh yeah.
Up and down, and she was a pretty girl too. Up and down both arms.
Jesus.
It's like you're fucking passing disease after disease around. It's like. There was this other girl. I used to when I told you I believe I did in the last interview we had that I used to go and do talks to colleges.
Oh yeah.
And stuff
Yep.
like that. There was this girl. Her mom was a school teacher. Her dad was a doctor. I don't know if I talked about her or not, but she was straight up a fucking train wreck. Drugs messed her up. And I used to take her before and after pitches and show them to, especially the girls in college.
Do you have to get the permission to do that, or
no?
No.
I mean, I didn't. I did it.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. I just did it. But I mean, it scared a lot of girls straight to because I would show how she was pretty when she started out.
Yeah.
And as life just went on,
beat the shit out of her.
Getting beat up by her pimp, by the drugs, by the because like heroin and shit, like your body temperature rises, and so people they literally scratch their face to a point of blood and fucking because they think they got bugs under their skin and fucking in the mouth's all fucking and their teeth falling out of their mouth and fucking it's like. And this girl went from this beautiful young girl to a fucking disgusting creature.
Yeah.
And the girls were like, so if I was able to trigger one girl, even a guy, I mean, because I did have guys that did, do pitches like that, and it helped. It was very it was helpful to
depict what was going on.
What I was talking about and having these kids understand.
Visual aids always help. I remember in high school, middle school, I used to love when they had somebody come into the auditorium and they gather everybody and they do this I used to love stuff like that. One that always stuck out to me was about the kids who ran away. and they had that Soul Asylum song, Runaway Train, they played, and they showed just picture after picture after picture of kids that ran away that just never were heard from again. And you have to wonder, like, did they just run away and just disappear into drugs and die somewhere, or were they kidnapped and put into human trafficking? Like, you have no idea. But that scares the living shit out of me about potentially being a parent one day. Scares the living shit out of me, because I have that switch. Like, there are some people who like to talk, and people who, like, if they're upset, they'll internalize things. Like, I have that switch where I'm either really good or I need to be locked up. Like, I don't have that middle ground, that negotiation part of my brain. I'm so afraid to have a child and then have something happen or someone say something, approach it. You know what I mean? Like, my cousin was almost kidnapped with kids. That scares the living shit out of me.
Well, when we were talking about my book in the beginning, with these kids, the fingerprinting kids, there was this piece of shit, I can't remember his name, but he was from the Mann Avenue neighborhood, kidnapping kids, and I lived on Plainfield Street.
Yeah.
Bro, when I tell you, I would tell my wife at the time, like, do not let my son Louis at the time, I said, do not let him outside by himself. Do not fucking, I would have lost my fucking mind, dude. I would have been that cop fucking killing him, that motherfucker.
See, but,
and I'd probably be in jail because I killed a piece of shit.
But to me, that's justified.
I agree with you.
Think about all the people you've locked. How many times have you locked up people repeatedly? Same people over and over again.
So many times.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
So many times, and they don't remember you. They don't like you. Even between drug dealers and prostitutes, I've locked up prostitutes several times. My partner used to go. He goes, you've locked her up so many times. I go, bet money on it. Bet money on it. Yeah. If you go in with attitude and fucking like nobody can stop you, right? That's fucking so key as a police officer, man. Like, and he used to get bit. Like, we walked down Cranston Street one time. He goes, people know you. You'll never make a buy on Cranston Street. I go, fucking bet me. Fucking bet me. Yeah. And I do it. Yeah. I do it. You know? Because they're desperate to sell. They have to. Yeah. There are some people, even if they think you're a cop, they'll run the risk. Yeah. I don't know anything about that, but I'm just saying, like, some people will do that. Like, I think I said it last time. Like, I'm sorry, I forget some of the shit I said last time, but like, going up Pleasant Street and the fucking kid coming up to me and wanting to sell to me, and then another kid's going, that's a knock, and he goes, knock, and I'm like, and I'm looking at the kid, I'm going, why? Because I like to do steroids? I like to smoke crack too. Yeah, who cares? What do you think calms me down after a workout? Yeah, he goes, I know, that motherfucker needs to shut the fuck up. And he's still letting me sell to me. Yeah. You know, they're desperate for money. They're so desperate for money. So desperate. It's like ridiculous. But I mean, it's anything in life though. Like, I never forget, like, when I was dating one of my last girlfriends, her and her mom were at Twin River Casino. Mm-hmm. And I was meeting them there after I got out of work. And I said, all right, I'll meet you guys there. Her mom was a VIP roller. So she goes, we'll be in the VIP room. I mean, she gambles a lot. Yeah, exactly. So I said, okay, cool. But you gotta, you can't just walk in here. You have to be a VIP. I go, don't worry about me. If you walk in, Steve, looking like you belong there, you know, without being too cocky, without just knowing how to compose yourself, how to conduct yourself. I did undercover work. Yeah, you know how to get into situations. I know how to get into, like, I walked in there and they're like, how'd you get in here? I just walked in. Yeah. Really? Like, yeah, really? Yeah, it's a way you compose yourself, though. It's an attitude. It's like a mindset. It's an attitude. But you know what it is? It's the ability to work people. You know, my guess is, doing that for so long, you could probably look at somebody from 15, 20 yards away and probably figure out by the time you get in front of that person what you can and can't get away with, or what you need to do to get what you need to from that person. It's a skill. Yeah. It's very hard to learn, but it's something you're just innately, know. I'm blessed to have it. Well, no, listen, you can get through a lot of, there are people, what's that old saying, fake it till you make it? Yeah. There are some people like you, myself, like, we can walk into I can hold a conversation with people at any level. I think we said this last time.
homeless drug addicts or, executives inside of a corporation. It doesn't make a difference. That's a very unique skill to be that type of chameleon where you can literally blend in everywhere you go.
Exactly.
And it's a skill to make.
It's a skill, and it's a I don't know. I mean, it's a skill.
Well, think about how beneficial that is in life to have people gravitate towards you, even strangers.
Yeah.
Social media allows you to do that. Granted, it's a little bit different face to face. I think what we're doing now is like a lost art. I think it's much more beneficial to be able to do this still in person than be able to text, type, all the bullshit.
Look, how many people can actually do this?
I don't know. Well, I'll say this.
But a lot of people, I think it's more people of our generation and our age
Probably.
that can do it because they can, but a lot of the young kids, man, they can't do it.
So you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, I do, but I gotta pee.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, the bathroom right across the hall. You know what? I'm gonna fucking change these batteries again.